You will only hear the word that you're reading. Moonstone. You will only hear the word that you're reading. Beef Caesar.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's a great network, and it's Monday, December 27th. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, we got Tass Mellis.
I've got a little sports tidbit for you guys. The Buffalo Bills didn't punt against the New England Patriots on Sunday. The first time a Bill Belichick defense has had that happen to them at any point in Bill Belichick's career. Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
And finally, filling in for JD, back like he never left. He covers the OKC Thunder for The Athletic. He hosts / produces, I don't know, a good 20 other podcasts on the network, including
right.
One of our favorites, Saturday's Slam and Jam on the Athletic NBA show feed. It's Andrew Schlect. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, guys. Glad to be back.
Do you have a
We're
cool
glad to have
football tidbit for us, like Tass?
Oh, no. I don't know if anybody follows college football, but my Oklahoma State Cowboys lost. Just a heartbreaker. And since then, I've just been feeling sports pain when I think about football. So,
what is this, a
trying to
bowl
stay away
game?
from football.
Was it a bowl game?
No. It was the Big 12 championship game. They were 2 inches away from winning the game.
And getting a bowl of Tostitos or something? Oh, that's a bowl game. I never know. I'm with Skeets. I'm sorry about your heartbreak, but I mean, I'm more concerned with when the bowl games start, when the championship, the tournaments ended. I don't even know what they are.
Idea.
I mean,
and we're in the South. We should know this stuff. We really should. I think Trey's Michigan is still alive, right? Maybe they're playing. They might be playing Georgia. I think I actually have that correct.
2-3.
There you go.
I think.
Okay, what are we doing here? It's an NBA podcast, guys. Shout out to the stream team for joining us live right now on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, share the show. Just the three of us here on a fine Monday morning. JD is actually on vacation. He's made his way to Canada. He got through the border. He is there. So good for him. Lee's still up there, moving around. Last I saw, he's in Calgary throwing water in the air to show how cold it was as it crystallized right then and there in the minus 30, 35, 40 degree weather that he's experiencing in Calgary. And TK still in Illinois. I know he took in a Bulls game last night. Got out to the arena, but we'll be missing him here for this show. That's all right. It's great to have Andrew back in the mix. Let's just talk about the Thunder for 40 minutes. Hey, Andrew, why not?
We can do that.
They can't lose. What's going on with this team? It's amazing.
We can talk about Kenrich Williams for 45 minutes. I can do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
everyone's separate right now, including the old studio, the new studio. It's by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, just relaxing, getting ready for the new year.
What do you think, Tass? What are the odds everything is still hanging on the wall when we go back to the studio in early January in 2022?
I say 100%.
I don't. I think the temperature flux down here is gonna, cause havoc on something we have on the wall down there. I'm a little concerned, but yeah, we'll get back into the new studio, as Tass called it, in 2022 when everybody's back. So early January. Email in your NBA questions though to nodunks@theathletic.com. We might hit the beach later this week when Andrew's back with us on Thursday. So this week, light week for your boys, with everybody basically on vacation still. We'll be here today, of course, on Monday, and then Thursday on December 30th. Andrew, once again, helping us produce that. So get your questions in, nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, @NoDunksInc. And finally, The Athletic is running an end-of-the-year deal, like an offer right now, for all new customers. $24 for an annual subscription. And this deal right now, it's live, runs through midnight to December 31st. So you have till 2021 ends to take advantage of this deal. Don't drag your feet. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks so they know that we sent you. So you can get No Dunks podcast free. You can get Slam and Jam podcast free. You can get all that great stuff.
No ads. Yeah.
No ads. Although some people think the ads are the best part of our show. So
right. True. Not mine,
I mean,
but yours.
That's what we've been told. So, guys, we are going to get to our NBA Christmas weekend winners. We've got some news to discuss, including renewed momentum in this mid-season, in-season NBA tournament, whatever you want to call it. That's Woj reporting that, so we'll get to that. But before all of that, oh boy, since we last talked to you guys, we had 5 wedgies. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
5 golden rings, Tass. 5 wedgies. We start here on Thursday night, DeMarcus Cousins with the running hook.
Yes.
Bit of a rare one. Yeah.
Kicking it old school, DMC.
For sure. Then same night, we're going to give this one to Jaden McDaniels of the Wolves. It's the tip variety. Donovan Mitchell probably got his hand on it as well, but we'll give it to the Wolves player there. Then on Christmas Day, a Christmas miracle, Alec Burks sticking wedgie number 19 at that point. Oh, we're not done, because on Sunday, Corey Kispert blows the wide open layup, but we're not angry with it, because then he gets a weird tip wedgie right after that. Okay.
Yeah, and it came out pretty quick. That's one that we could miss.
Yeah.
The Sunday after Christmas, but we got it.
That's true. And then, Andrew loved it. I saw him tweeting about it. Lou Dort dropped Dort, ! Cap locks in the stream team right now. Dort sticks number 21. So, wow. We went
What a blur.
16 when we last talked to you. What, on Thursday morning, I guess it was, right,
Yeah.
Tass, when we were in the studio, to now to 21. So many wedgies, Tass. WedgieTracker.com wasn't even working for me this morning. I think we crashed the system.
Yeah, that's understandable. I
Yeah.
mean, 5 wedgies, and we had a 2 in one night, then 1 on Christmas Day, which is always special. That
Very
is a
nice.
gift, and then a couple on Sunday as well. They're flying together.
Oh.
Then those last 2 are within probably 15 minutes.
Very, very close. Yeah.
Of actual time together, because we were slacking back and forth. Number 20 on the board, and you said, I'll grab the next one. The next one. You mean
You were confused.
you mean number 20?
Yeah.
But no. Flying.
By the time I was grabbing number 20 from Kispert, Dort was sticking the 3-point wedgie there in OKC. So a magical Christmas weekend here for your boys at No Dunks. But let's get to the actual winners, Tass. Where do you want to start? Who is your NBA Christmas weekend winner?
Listen, Christmas was really good in terms of basketball. I want to start with the Warriors and Otto Porter specifically, but I'll take you to the beginning of the day, because this is how Christmas Day basketball started on ESPN. Here's the opening voiceover. I'm going to quote it because it has to do with Otto Porter and the Warriors, in my opinion. It's the most wonderful day of the year. Basketball on Christmas, where the stars shine just a little bit brighter. Everyone's in the giving spirit. You might even see a Christmas miracle. Now, first 2 games, not really a miracle. There was no miracle there. But Game 3, the 2 best teams in basketball this season, Warriors and the Suns. The Warriors a little shorthanded, and they decide to sit Stephen Curry with 5 minutes left in that game of a 5-point basketball game. The Warriors are up 5. Steph sits. Now, to me, this is a miracle when the Warriors are putting on the floor a very defensive-minded lineup. No Wiggins, no Poole, because they were out. Curry sitting out this point. Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, Gary Payton II, Juan Toscano Anderson, and Otto Porter on the floor.
What a lineup.
Yes, and the first possession, not to worry. Here's the Christmas miracle. Otto time. Otto Porter lines up a deep 3, and Steve Kerr called it the biggest shot of the game. That extended it to 8. And then Otto went on to score 3 more baskets in those last few minutes. He scored 10 points in the last 5. Steph didn't even have to score a point after he returned. And Otto just saved the day. He had a season-high 19 points. I know it's not a huge number, but when you get your season high on Christmas Day and you can let your best players sit and you can be the go-to guy on offense, to me, that was a miracle. We talked about Anthony Bennett, if we remember, the number 1 pick in the 23 NBA draft last year as a potential replacement for all these guys who are sitting out. Well, Otto Porter was also in that draft at number 3. He was drafted by the Wizards. They extended him in 2017, and then they traded him to the Bulls because the Wiz were basically done with him. And now this is obviously his biggest moment since probably some of those Wizard days. He didn't live up to the billing, but this Warriors franchise, their coaching staff, even the Curry effect, the Draymond effect, the Steve Kerr effect, allowing guys to really play within their roles. On this day, on Christmas Day, the Golden State Warriors played Quindary Weatherspoon. Quindary Weatherspoon, that is a name. He's a G League call-up, and he played great. He played great defensive ball, and he had a few buckets. They played Chris Chiozza, one of their 2-way players, Juan Toscano Anderson, they're one of their back-end rotation guys that they've made a solid guy. Jonathan Kuminga, a rookie who just started playing recently. I mentioned Gary Payton II, who he started in this game, and he has been A great find for them as their number 15 guy. They picked him over Avery Bradley. I say all this because the Warriors won it with their depth. They were shorthanded, Noe Iguodala as well as Wiggins and Jordan Poole, and they came through in the clutch there. To me, this was a miracle. I know they wanted this game real bad because the Suns beat them a couple weeks ago, but this felt like a playoff game. The Warriors were absolutely possessed to start this game. Draymond Green was bouncing. He played so well up and down the roster, and they needed to play well to sort of overcome their lack of offensive talent. But man, did they do that. That was a really good show on Christmas Day. That was, I know we'll get through some of the other games, but just a really good day of basketball.
Can you remind me if Otto Porter ever made one of your El Tizo teams? I couldn't remember.
A guy who shows some flashes.
Yeah.
I don't think Otto made it.
No? Okay. No. Not enough flashes usually from Otto Man.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, there was a few. I guess you're remembering maybe a few. Yeah, that's why they extended him to a big deal. They thought he was going to be the number 3 guy behind Beal and Wall, and that did not happen, obviously.
I like that he not only looks like Wilt Chamberlain at times, but he did on Christmas Day too there with the flurry of buckets, like you said, late in the game. It's got a striking resemblance to some Wilt Chamberlain photos. So, okay.
Yeah.
Otto Porter Jr. Wow. Who would have seen that coming for an NBA Christmas weekend winner? I guess it is. Well, I'll piggyback off of that because one of my winners of the weekend is really all of you sickos like me that can't stop watching Basketball Reference's MVP tracker. Because we had 3 of the 4 MVP favorites, 3 of the 4 at the table balling out really this weekend. Because Curry had 2 monster games. Yeah, he was sitting there for some interesting minutes late. Kerr trying to buy in some time. But over the extended Christmas break for us, Curry, in 2 9-point victories against the Grizzlies and the Suns, so 2 good teams, he averaged 39.5 points per game, 5 assists, 4 boards, 2.5 steals, shot 47% from the floor, 43% from 3 on 15 attempts per game from deep. My goodness. And he was a cool 20 for 21 from the free throw line. I know Lee would have held that against him for missing the one, but that's Curry and his numbers. Then you had Giannis. He's still in this race, the 2-time MVP. They, on Christmas Day, they're trailing, for the most part, double digits for most of the game against the Celtics. And then he scores 29 of his 36 in the second half. He adds 12 boards, 5 assists, 2 blocks. I mean, big play after big play late. You talk about Draymond having bounce in the Warriors game. Well, that's like Giannis coming back from missing 5 games, being out of the lineup, health and safety protocols, and then just looks like the most athletic freak in the second half of a game when people get a little more sluggish. So he gets the Bucks the victory. And then I'm not done because Jokic is still there, the reigning MVP. He had 2 monster games. They split them for Denver, but he had 26 points, 22 boards. Yep, big beef. Shout out to Trey. As Denver rallied past the Clippers 103-100. They also sort of gave up a big lead in that, but they got the victory last night. He had 8 assists. And that was after another game where he had another 20 type of game task. He actually became the first player to record 25-plus points, 20-plus rebounds, and 5-plus assists in consecutive games who, Task? Can you name it?
No.
1988, Charles Barkley. Going way back. So just monster numbers. And again, I'm clicking on this Basketball Reference MVP award tracker every day. And it's awesome right now because it's Giannis 1, Steph 2, Durant is 3, obviously wasn't playing there in the Christmas Day game, and then Jokic 4. And it has like the probability percentage, like their chances of winning this thing. It's so evenly split. Giannis 19%, Curry 18.7%, Durant 16.9%, and Jokic 16.6%. So for all the MVP favorites or guys at the table that were playing over these last couple days, I mean, they all balled out and like just put on a show, be it on Christmas or in Jokic's case, those 2 games surrounding the Christmas Day games there.
Yeah, we got some ballers on Christmas Day as well as Jokic. 2 things I want to point out. First, let me ask you, did those performances and just the closeness of the Christmas Day games sort of help out the fact that we didn't have, in your opinion, like did it just feel all right that we didn't have Trey, Durant, and Luka, but we had these
Close
other
games.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made
sure.
up for that. Did that make up for it?
Yeah. Honestly, of course you want the star players playing in these games, and the league does more than anyone because that's how they pitch all these games. Like when they show you who's playing, it's one guy, star player from team X versus the other star player from team Y. So that's what they do, and that's worked well for them, going back to your Bird and Magic and MJ days. But really, at the end of the day, I just want close games. Like if my Raps aren't playing, and they didn't play in a close game yesterday, spoiler on that one, then I just want like really entertaining finishes or comebacks or stuff like that. So yeah, 4 of the 5 games on Christmas, pretty damn entertaining down the stretch. So I'll take that. I think it more than made up for it.
Yeah, and I guess the first game or the other game that you're implying wasn't a close game is the Knicks Hawks game, which was the first game. But that fit the usual sort of feel of the first game as well. Never really a doozy. I don't know why. It's just too early for basketball players.
Too early. These guys just had their Christmas mornings, I assume, or the night before on Christmas Eve. There's that. Yeah, just to get the energy going at a 12 o'clock tip.
It's too early.
Because you're right. I mean, we need somebody to go check. It feels like those 12 o'clock games are usually snooze fests, right?
They're snooze fests. Even if they're not blowouts, they're clunkers. There's a lot of clanking going on. There's a lot of missed shots going on. These guys are creatures of habit. They need their naps. And I understand that because I need my sleep. And that's why I was sleeping at midnight when our buddy Grish sent me a text. And that leads me to my next question. Okay. He was rating the players. He was watching Donovan Mitchell against the Dallas Mavericks, and he was wondering, where is he? Is he top 10? Is he top 15? But all that kind of thing. And you reference the MVP tracker quite often. As Rude Dog points out in the stream team, Skeets is the only one I've ever heard reference this MVP tracker. But I like that you reference it because we need to know that Jokic is in the top 5 easily. Every single time you mentioned it, you mentioned that Jokic is in the top 5, and our buddy Grish didn't even have Jokic in the top 5. He dropped into that 6 through 10 category, and Jokic is just playing so well. I mean, he can carry a team, and we talk obviously a lot about Steph last year and the way he carried that team to an 8th place finish. Well, Jokic is doing something even greater right now, the way he's carrying a team to, the sort of the middle of the Western Conference without Jamal Murray, without Michael Porter Jr. And he's having a better year than last year. And he's not going away. He's just one of the best players in the game. So put him in that top 5. I think that, the guys we mentioned with Curry, Giannis, Durant, and if you want to rank them, him, and it's hard to take out LeBron from there, but those are the guys, and he deserves to be in there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that they're 16-16 with how badly they've been hit with like star players, of course, on their team not being in the lineup, and Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. and Will Barton. I know missed a good chunk of time. So yeah, it's pretty amazing what he's doing. It's even crazier that he's probably going to finish 3rd or 4th. Right. I mean, it's just the honest truth. Like if the Warriors have the number 1 record in the league, well, then Curry's a favorite. Same could be said maybe with the Nets and Durant, and then the Bucks could still have that record. And it's like, there's no way the Nuggets are going to have it. He's going to have better numbers than he had in his MVP year with less help around him. And I don't think it's not a stretch for me to say he's probably going to finish at the end of the day 3rd, 4th, or 5th, right? I mean, it just is.
Yeah, I think records should play a part in MVP voting because you do have a trickle-down effect on the rest of your guys. Yeah, and I think I wasn't willing to give it to Curry last year, but now that he's where he is, as I said, the Otto Porter, the effect on guys like that, I think it has to be given, some credit has to be given to Steph, and on and on and on. So yeah, the record should play a part. So unless Jokic can leapfrog Curry, which is highly, highly unlikely in the standings, and same with Durant, who's they're still number 1, and we'll get to them in a sec. That's going to be very hard to overcome. But I like talking about Jokic because he absolutely is. He's disrespected not just by our buddy Grish, but people out there. As Jared Thomas points out, Jokic is the most underrated MVP in NBA history. It could be true. No one respects him as an MVP. He's fantastic. He obviously is. He is, and I think we need to continue to look at MVP tracker, even if you're the only one. If you're the only one who's only bookmarked that site, Skeets, you gotta keep pointing it out.
My buddy Grish is a casual, by the way, so don't get all worked up about that. Okay,
Oh,
everybody. Yeah,
you got to teach the casuals.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess. Well, does that make Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson a casual then too? Wasn't it Zach Lowe getting all upset with them?
Yeah, see, I think, I don't know. They should recognize that Jokic is, he's having a better year than last year, but yeah, not the storyline, I guess. Not juicy enough. And then, everybody has the voting fatigue immediately after a guy wins.
Yeah. Just back to the Mitchell thing, though. That was the question from my buddy Grish. You don't got to go through your whole list. I get that. That's going to be a little tiresome, maybe a little boring. But, like, is Mitchell top 12? Or is he more top 15 or top 20? Like, what does your gut say right away?
Well, he's absolutely top 15.
Okay.
I think, yeah, 12.
So he's knocking on the door of top 12. Probably.
10, 11, 12. Yeah, he's there.
Okay.
I'd have to go through and get all casual with my man Grish, but I know we like to keep it cash here, but I'm not ready to do that. I mean, is he your top 12? Possibly.
What a crazy text to wake up to at 7 a.m, eh?
Oh, and then I saw him, and then he repeats it. And he repeated it.
Hey! You gotta read all these names he sent to you, and you're like, I'm at 7 a.m. I'm lying in bed trying to think if Donovan Mitchell is top 12 in the league. It's too much for that time. I hadn't even had coffee.
Yeah. You know what was nice of him, though? He separated the top 5 with a nice space in the text. Like he's pretty good at formatting text. So he had top 5, then he had 6 through 10, and then he had 11 through 15.
Yeah.
So
I think you got the second draft. That's why. I got the here it all is. It wasn't formatted that nice. Some were caps lock, some weren't. And then you got like the edited version. You put a little more thought into it. Okay, anyway, let's keep going here. Tass, who else do you have for winner of the NBA Christmas weekend?
Well, I mentioned those Brooklyn Nets. They are doing it with their depth right now. No Kevin Durant, as we mentioned. And I know Mike D'Antoni, back in the day with the Phoenix Suns, he got a lot of credit for getting role players paid because they came out of his system looking great. And I think Steve Nash, who was his point guard back then, he deserves some of that credit right now with the Brooklyn Nets because he's inserting guys. And I think he is a guy who really empowers people because they started Bruce Brown, DeAndre Bembry, Nic Claxton, and Patty Mills alongside James Harden against the Los Angeles Lakers team. And those guys got the job done. It was a convincing thwacking of the Los Angeles Lakers out there. Patty Mills had 34 points, tying his career high, a Christmas Day record, 8 threes, which was kind of surprising. That kind of came out of nowhere for me.
Yeah. And Curry usually doesn't play good on Christmas.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of expectations. At 8 threes, it's a big number. Still a big number, even though we thought Steph Curry would hit 16 a few weeks ago. I was just weirded out by so many moments in this Nets-Lakers game. I don't know about you, Skeets, but seeing center Carmelo Anthony at the end of the games getting hand drop-offs, like as LeBron would drive, and the guy who is getting the ball on drop-offs was Carmelo Anthony. That was weird. And then we saw Nic Claxton, who I mentioned as one of the starters, one of the young guys Steve Nash is empowering. 45 seconds left. This game's tied, and he throws it down on the king for an incredible photo.
Yeah,
I'm showing it to you here on the stream team. He threw it down on Braun. Kudos. He went to go get after.
Well, they are both so high in this pick.
It is ridiculous. Yeah. And LeBron is criticized for not playing defense. He went after this one. He got thrunked on. It was a bit of a thrunk.
Yep, definite thrunk.
And I zoomed in on it here. And so apologies to Qatar Airways. Their logo was in this photo, but I had to cutter it out of there just to zoom in a little bit more on Nic Claxton. It was just weird to see Braun get thrown down on. He had 39 in this game. He was playing so well, and I'll remember obviously that dunk. I mean, the Lakers just don't have a Patty Mills. They literally don't have a guy like that, and they went after him in the offseason to try and get him, but they're lacking. Another weird thing was seeing Russell Westbrook miss at the rim over and over and over again. He missed 11 shots at the rim.
Yeah.
It was 4 of 15, within a few feet of the bucket. But this Lakers team, I'm glad their arena is named the Crypto Arena, whatever it's called, the Crypto.com Arena, I guess it's called, because like crypto, the Lakers go up and down.
Wow, nailed it.
Bill Aram at The Athletic, a nice line about it. All it took was one game for the Lakers to get buried in the crypt. That's nice.
That's not bad.
Nice. But that was a convincing win for the Nets.
Yeah.
because the Lakers, they came back and tied it. I said it was tied 45 seconds left, and it was only a 7-point loss, but they were down 20, and the fourth quarter flurry it just wasn't that convincing. Was it convincing for you? Not for
I mean, convincing.
It was nice as a viewer.
It was a close game, so they were right back into it. And you have LeBron on your team, so you like your chances to ultimately close it out. But the Lakers are reeling here. We decided, Tass and I, only the two of us, with Andrew helping out with the producing. We usually on Monday do our weekend winners and losers, but we're in the holiday spirit here. We decided we got some news we can talk about later. Let's just stick to winners. But the Lakers would be on the losers list. From the time we left on Thursday night, they got hammered by the Spurs, and then they got hammered here on Christmas Day. Sorry, not hammered, but they were getting hammered, made it a game, and then ultimately lose to the Nets there. So, and there are a lot of questions surrounding this team, like how do they turn this around? When LeBron is balling right now, too. That's the other part, like putting up monster lines, and has a bit of like, I don't know, a little desperation you can sense from him. Like, holy crap, do I have to be doing all of this? And it's still not resulting in victories. No, seriously. So they would be on that list.
They would be. He expected a lot from guys like Kendrick Nunn, who hasn't played a game, Malik Monk, who hasn't played to his capabilities. Those guys that they ended up signing at the end of the offseason to fill in for the Carusos that they let to go to Chicago, and all the guys that they traded for Russell Westbrook. He expected a lot from those guys because he keeps mentioning, we haven't seen our full team yet. But it's going to be a tough sledding here in January and February, especially without Anthony Davis for another few weeks. And it takes away from what he did. He had a 39-point game, passed Kobe for Christmas Day's all-time leading scorer mark. And he played in his 16th straight Christmas Day, record tying 16 games on Christmas Day. He played in his 15th straight Christmas Day game. It's kind of weird because we were talking about, has he ever missed a Christmas Day game? But he's played in 16 of 19 years because he didn't play in his second, third, and fourth years on Christmas, which was weird that the NBA wouldn't be
that is a little strange.
Pushing Bron. They pushed him in the first year, but not in year 2, 3, and 4, which is weird. Yeah. So he's obviously looking good. But the Lakers, struggling.
Well, one of my other winners from this sort of long weekend for us was a team that did, like I said, punk the Lakers on Thursday night. And that's the San Antonio Spurs. They beat them 138-110. And then on Sunday, steamrolled the very shorthanded Pistons 144-109. That's a whole lot of points from San Antonio. And they're 14-18 now, Tass. They've jumped up to 10th in the Western Conference. They've won 3 straight, 4 or 5 to get them up there. It's pretty amazing. They're a fun team to watch. Now, they were one of the rare teams in the league, it feels like, not all that impacted by COVID-19 this season. But that did change on Sunday morning. DeJounte Murray was ruled out. But it was okay. They overcame the loss of their starting point guard, who could be all-star consideration, by sort of sharing the workload. They had a season-high 39 assists. Again, they're playing the Pistons. I get it. But Trey Jones, career-high 11. Derek White added 10 assists. And I saw Ziller in his newsletter this morning. Happy anniversary, by the way, to Ghostface Tom Ziller there, 2 years running. One of the best newsletters in the game. He said the Spurs have now scored 112-plus in 9 straight games and have the number 2 offense in the league in the month of December and number 6 overall for the season. Just Pop, man, finds a way as he zeroes in, gets closer and closer to the all-time wins record for coaches. I don't know what he is. I don't track that as closely as I track the MVP tracker on Basketball Reference, but I know he's getting close. Maybe somebody in the stream team can tell me the exact number. It's probably like 12 or something like that he's away from. But yeah, Spurs, got to give them credit here. They're back in the mix. They'd be in the play-in, and you watch them play, and you're convinced they're just as good as the Blazers or the Wolves or the Kings or, any of these teams. Heck, you could even talk me into the Mavericks. So they're right there, Tess.
Yeah, they shared the ball like crazy against that Pistons team. They had 39 assists, so it was nice watching them, even though it was against this Pistons team. It's a team, obviously, that's got to do it by committee, and they did it without their best player in DeJounte Murray, but to go back-to-back monster games, 144, 139 before that, and they get up and down. They play one of the fastest paces in the league. I said anything is possible at the top of the show, and I think Greg Popovich shows that he's willing to change. He's an older fella, but he's got no problem playing faster, playing different. He obviously changed multiple times throughout his coaching career when he was, playing with the Twin Towers, and then he played a 3-ball style because he needed to go get championships. And now it's a different team, and it's an enjoyable watch. And you mentioned all the standings. That picture there, the Spurs, they could creep in there quite easily because no one is really running away with it. You've got Alvin Gentry, who I'm sure would be coaching one of the losers if we were doing winners and losers of the weekend, where Alvin Gentry just came out post-game after that Kings loss and said that is the most, what was the word? Was it, I don't know if it was embarrassing? Okay, embarrassing moment in my 30 years in basketball. It's embarrassing, disappointing.
I feel like he has said this 3 times already about the Kings. As I saw that, and I'm like, oh, he said it again? It's like, oh God, I can't. I don't have the quote in front of me. Was it disappointing or embarrassing? But it was. It's probably both, to be honest.
And he was wearing a mask when he said it, and so that's one of the disappointing parts about masks. It's a little less emphatic. And Andrew, what did he say?
He said, "This is the most disappointed I've been in my 34 years in the NBA."
Wow.
Which, if you followed Alvin Gentry at all, or even just look him up on Basketball Reference, there's a lot of disappointment.
Yeah. He might be caught in the moment here. Prisoner.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
it's what the Kings do. This is what the Kings do. They just break you down to just nothing.
He's going to quit, isn't he? He's just going to walk away from basketball. The Kings did that. I saw our Mo here in the stream team, 11 games away from passing Don Nelson is Popovich, according to Mo. So thank you for that. That sounds right.
He's going to get there. There was some talk at the beginning earlier this year, wondering this team not looking great. He needs to get to 25 wins. Is there a chance? But now, he's going to get there.
That's looking more and more likely. All right, Tass, one more. Why not? Hey, what do you have to do today? What do you got to do for the rest of the day? Nothing, right?
Not much.
No,
not really. What am I going to do today? I trim my nails. Got to get that done.
Okay, well, if that's what's on your to-do list.
It's the holidays. Come on, I'm busy, Skeets. I'm busy. Really? Anyway, okay. I'm sticking with the stars for my winners. Julius Randle, I think, looked the best that he's looked all season. He hasn't looked like that all-NBA, all-star Julius Randle we saw last year. And they took care of the Hawks, 14-point win. It was kind of felt like a blowout, but that's the way it should be if Julius Randle is playing to his capability, especially with Trae Young out on the other side. If Julius Randle is just taking and making threes, he was 6 of 9 from 3-point land. And that's what Julius Randle was last year, just able to just fire away and be confident that his shot was going in at all times. It was only 25 and 12. So statistically, he's had some 30-point games this year, but I thought that he looked, again, just like that guy last year. And that's the difference between the Knicks of last year and this year. Julius Randle and that All-NBA All-Star performance, is that for real? And it hasn't been up to this point. And that's why the Knicks are disappointed, are sub 500. But I don't know, Christmas can bring some different performances out of people. And I felt like that was the best Julius Randle. I just, again, numbers not huge, but he's playing defense, and maybe it was because the bright lights were on, but maybe this can be a bit of a catalyst for Julius Randle to get back to who he was last year, because he hasn't been that confident in the taking and making category. He hasn't been a number one option, but he looked like it in that first game. He looked like the best player on the floor, and that's obviously what the Knicks need with the way they're constructed right now for them to get into the playoffs. It's disappointing that they're sitting in 12th right now, outside the play-in tournament, which is bonkers. But there's obviously lots of time left, and Julius could pull him into the play-in picture
for sure. I also have just Christmas Day fans as a winner of the weekend because we've already touched on it, but a lot of these games were very exciting, and that's better than last year. I saw Schumann, great tweet from him. He had the average margin of victory on Christmas in 2020. So last year was 23.2. Holy crap. This year, a much more enjoyable 6.4 average margin of victory. And that's including that pretty dominant Knicks win there. So that sort of skewed the numbers even a little bit more. So it was just good. I mean, again, you already said you had LeBron becoming the league's all-time leading scorer on Christmas Day, passing Lakers legend Kobe Bryant for that spot. Kemba Walker easily could just sort of be a winner of the weekend by himself, but you had him and Harden both in fire Christmas Day outfits, both recording triple doubles for their respective teams there in New York and Brooklyn. Giannis, I already talked about him and his MVP performance there, helping lead the Bucks to that huge comeback victory over the Celtics. That block pass on, I guess it was on Time Lord there, where he steps to Tatum, like Tatum's going to shoot it or dunk it. He's like, okay, I'm ready for you. Tatum wisely passes to the dunker spot to his big man. Okay, that's going to be an easy 2. That would have been an easy 2 against almost anybody else in the league, but Giannis, nope, jumps, blocks him, totally clean. Crazy plays from him. And then Donovan Mitchell. Is he top 12? Is he top 15? Is he top 20? Top 24? Top 10? Anyway, he helped Utah overcome a pretty early deficit to take down the shorthanded Mavericks. So just entertaining games. Andrew, I don't know how much basketball you were watching there on Christmas Day. I know you got three young boys, so I'm sure it was madness over in your house, but did you take in any?
Yeah, I mean that Nets Lakers game was incredible. Yeah, it was so fun. I actually felt bad for Russell Westbrook because he hasn't had a bad season. It hasn't been this bad, but to do it on Christmas Day like that, everybody just thinks, oh, we got to just trade him. We got to get rid of him. He is the problem. And it's like, well, if you've been watching all season, he hasn't been the problem for the Lakers. Right. Part of the problem for the Lakers is that all their role players are 37 years old. You know, if they had some younger players in there or just some more athleticism in there, I think it'd be better. But even like Russ is shooting 60% from 0 to 3 feet this season. It's not as bad as it looked as him getting blocked by the rim.
He has bad timing, is what you're saying. Having one of his worst games there.
His mistakes are the loudest in the league.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a great way to put it. And felt like there was a lot of Twitter discussion about triple doubles.
Yeah.
And about how you can have a bad game despite having a triple double. And part of that was, Kemba didn't have an incredible game shooting the ball, but he had triple double. Same with Russ. And then the other thing was trade Russell Westbrook. And then people going, for who? And for what? And how?
And what team is really going to want him right now? I mean, I just can't imagine what team it is. I've tried. I even text Fred Katz. I was like, what about the Knicks? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I have none.
Yeah. That's the Stan Van Gundy quote of the weekend. He's a great Twitter follow, but then he comes out with his most engagement, his most retweeted tweet of all time by saying, just because an NBA player has a triple-double doesn't mean he had a good game. Right. And the definition of Russell Westbrook's last couple years, where he's obviously putting up these ridiculous numbers, and now we're discussing whether or not teams would take him on, and he's still getting those numbers. But it is a fair point from Stan Van, because sometimes they aren't great. But you're right that Russell Westbrook, he can't be a team's best player, but he hasn't been the Lakers' the reason why they've stunk. He has some bad moments for sure. Be nice if he'd be comfortable taking every 3 when he was open. But the role players are the ones, forcing Russ to be the scapegoat, as Jim Wright says here.
That's what happens. I mean, it looked like it was going to be on AD for a little bit. Remember that? There was like a week or two where it was like, hold on, you just got named to the NBA All 75/76 list, and you've been a little quiet. So there was that, but then he goes out. So now you can't point the finger at him. It's definitely not LeBron, who's playing incredibly well. Vogel had his little moment. Oh, Vogel's on the hot seat. He's going to be. This is what happens when, you have so much expectations. It really happens on any LeBron team, right, Andrew? That's the truth. It's like they're not living up to, if they're not one of the top teams in the league, then it's like, well, it's not LeBron's fault. So who else is it? And then that's just what happens. We go through this all the time.
Yeah, and there'll be some turnover. I mean, every LeBron team always has turnover, especially when they start out slow. So it'll be interesting to see what Lakers management's able to do. Because it's really, if anybody's to blame, it's Lakers management for not making the right moves in the offseason.
Yes, and I think this is a great comment here from the one and only Bossable. Russ is definitely a scapegoat, but also he's not the guy this team needed. That's fair. I don't think we're trying to sit here and like really defend Russell Westbrook. Like, oh no, that was a championship move in getting him. There were a lot of questions at the time, and he's Russ, so he looks amazing, and then he looks like, oh, you're killing us out here, man. like he sort of did on Christmas. But it was the building of this team and the structure and the construction of this team task that was like, oh, this could not work, especially if Anthony Davis isn't playing. That's the whole other thing to me. Like if he wasn't playing well, and then when he's not even playing, that's an issue.
Yes, and I think every team that's going to play them in the playoffs, if they're healthy, will be very worried that they can lose to this team, regardless of what we're saying right now. But yeah, the role players are a problem, not playing to their capabilities. You give up Caruso and KCP and Kuzma and Harrell, and they have not been able to replicate that. And talking about age, this is Russell Westbrook's 14th year in the league. He's not young. By any standards, especially by like athletic guard standards either. So that it hurts. It hurts like to ask a guy to carry a team when his 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys aren't, pulling their weight. That's how LeBron's teams have been great. It's when, guys step up, and that's what they thought they were getting from Russ, is a guy who could be sort of the link, the olive branch from the regular season, to the playoffs, where LeBron could chill a little bit, and Russ would be that energetic guy to get them the buckets. But it hurts when, the rest of the guys aren't performing.
There's a lot of talk here in the stream team, and we'll just touch on this before we take our first break. What about Westbrook and whatever else you got to throw in to make happen for Ben Simmons?
If this is where it all ends.
Oh my God.
For the Sixers.
Yeah.
First of all, I'll be listening to every Sixers podcast for a long time.
Yeah.
But I just don't know that they can handle it. I don't know that Sixers fans could handle this being the end of the line for the Ben Simmons stuff.
Oh, what an emergency podcast that would be, though, Tass. That was one of our last emergency podcasts, wasn't it? When Westbrook got traded for Chris Paul, right? That was obviously a while ago, but I remember I was on vacation when that one broke.
Yeah, that was the summer of 2019 when the starters became the free agents.
Right. Yes, that's right.
Because we were asking Rob Pelinka, hey, sign us. We don't have a deal. Sign us. We could be your 11, 12.
Yeah, we're old enough. Fit perfectly in that window that you're looking for.
Yeah, then we had the four-way Harden deal as the emergency podcasts. The famous clip of JD finding out live that he had to do a fourth podcast that day.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was well. No, that won't happen.
No.
Russ to the Sixers will not happen.
Okay.
No way.
No, Morey's not holding out for that. But yeah, Simmons on the Lakers, sure. People like that. Lakers fans would like that. Let me give kudos to the NBA for the scheduling, because I was a little worried that they were gonna reschedule games and no one was gonna watch the first and the fifth game, because they said the primary slots were the 2, 3, 4 slots. Right. They warned the teams, hey, you may be moved around, and they made a good decision not moving teams around by not lessening that the image and the quality of the game. So they did a really good job of keeping the Trayless Hawks in the 1 hole and the Luka-less Mavs in the 5 hole. And 2, 3, 4 was great. And you mentioned the Giannis play in Game 3. I think that one is sort of overlooked, maybe because it was sandwiched between 2 really great games with the Warriors game and the Lakers game. But that play was so amazing. I mean, it was like the finals, where he was able to bounce back and block the DeAndre Ayton alley-oop. He played 2 guys at once. And when he played Tatum and Robert Williams, I mean, that was phenomenal. I think Tatum would be probably in the loser category if we were doing winners and losers, because his clutch moments just haven't been very good this season. He wasn't clutch there.
No, I think we're learning, too, that Shams is saying he might be in protocols as well. Tatum
Jason Tatum.
Like breaking right now, I guess.
These protocols, they come out of nowhere.
Nobody is safe.
After Christmas, Draymond Green, protocol. John Collins, protocols. They are relentless.
Yep. We're going to take our first break, but when we come back, we'll get into the talk about this in-season tournament, Paul George injury, and a lot more. So don't go anywhere. Tassie, am I going to go or are you going to go?
You know what? The brain just had a little bit of a fart. So here we go. And it's funny because I'm feeling very good these days because I have been taking an Athletic Greens supplement. The brain farts have been minimal. I try and take care of myself, so I take a daily vitamin. I know you do too, Skeets, or at least I was taking a daily vitamin. I was taking a horse pill. I did not enjoy swallowing that pill at all. I can feel it in my throat right now. I can feel it going down the wrong tube right now, but the game has changed. I wake up, put some Athletic Greens as a powder in my cup. I mix in the water and I get all those vitamins without having to take that pill every morning. And I have a little routine. I pour those greens in a cup, add some cold water, and I get out my little frother to mix it. You know, people froth their little coffees or whatever they do, but I set the brrr in my water and I got a little green cappuccino. I'm good to go. It feels great. I've been taking it every morning. I'm getting 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. What the heck are those? To help me start my day right. It's important to take a multivitamin. It's important to take one with high-quality ingredients that the body will actually absorb. It costs less than $3 a day. And I don't mind that it costs that much because it means it's a high-quality product, and it's cheaper than getting all the different supplements on their own. Have I been more alert on the show recently, other than this moment before this ad? Well, now you know why. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/nodunks. Again, athleticgreens.com/nodunks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like leaving your laptop exposed at the coffee shop table, like while you run to the bathroom. Most of the time, you're probably fine, but what if one day you come out of the bathroom and your laptop is gone? Huh? Worse, what if one day you come out of the bathroom and someone has used your laptop to download every photo of Mike Bibby ever taken? That's my living hell. I'd rather you steal my laptop than do that to my laptop. It doesn't matter who your internet service provider is. ISPs in the US can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET. Visit my exclusive link. Yes, my exclusive link, expressvpn.com/nodunks, and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/nodunks. expressvpn.com/nodunks to learn more. Okay, a little news for you guys. This first one is back in our lives by way of Woj and ESPN. Renewed momentum for creation of in-season NBA tournament. TAS. I know we have talked about this many times before on the podcast. Oh, just once?
No. Yeah, you're right.
No, definitely twice, 3 times maybe. But Woj is saying that this could be possible in the next coming years. And again, there's renewed momentum from Silver and the owners to maybe get on board with this. What do you think?
The timing of the tournament I find interesting. A pre-Christmas tournament. But look, this is the time of year when the NBA desires more eyeballs, right? A lot of people, the casuals say that the NBA season doesn't start until Christmas Day anyway. So I guess that's what the league is thinking here. I wonder if it would be a distraction for players that are in that mode of in October, November, trying to get their teams right, trying to build and establish. But I guess not. I guess it's another game, another way to get better. So I think it is a good timing for the league and could create some exposure when they want it. And I guess the success of the play-in tournament has built a little trust here with Adam Silver. So I think the Players Association could say, all right, you did well. It would also mean reducing the number of regular season games from 82 to 78. So I think the players would definitely be up for that. Would the owners be up for that? Where you would lose some money, a few $1 million for your 2 home dates that you lose. But I think this offers a nice sponsorship opportunity if we're talking on the business side for other sponsors to get in the game. Some sponsors who would want to get NBA eyeballs, and maybe they lost out on trying to get NBA rights or whatever. I think this is an opportunity that will easily be recouped. For those couple games will be recouped in terms of the losses there. So I think it's a good timing on the schedule rather than what they were thinking January-ish before the All-Star game. I think the players will be playing because they want to get their teams going in October, November, rather than a January right before the All-Star game. Do you think I'm right there, Andrew? Is it players will be more focused to jump in head first into this thing rather than like right before the All-Star game when they're thinking about break and they've already sort of, got the 25, 30, 35 games, the routine of their own team in?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's some teams that still don't know exactly who they are by that point too, and might still have hope for playoffs or whatever it is. And this could kind of help that a little bit. And I also think this is just a way for the NBA to dominate the entire calendar, right? I mean, if they can get people watching them during that time and then watching on Christmas and then watching like the playoff race, then the playoffs, then the draft, I mean, I think they just dominate the entire calendar if they're able to do this and pull it off. So, and I'm all for it. Like, let's have more fun. I think tournaments are fun. I think that people will get into it. I mean, I don't see why not. I don't see the true downside here for the NBA and not doing this. And as a fan, like, you just want more things to root for, and this is definitely that.
Yeah, so Woj says this could become a part of the calendar as soon as 22-23, maybe 23-24 season. He also said the tournament would begin with pool play as part of the regular season schedule prior to teams with the best records advancing to an 8-team single elimination tournament that would, like Tess said, culminate prior to Christmas. So games that they would be playing anyway, going to be part of, in theory, this pool play to this tournament, and the top 8 go into it. And, it's like a one and done type of thing. And they battle it out for what is the question. They've discussed a purse of $1 million per player for the winning team. Okay. $1 million to, you're already playing these regular season games. And then what, in theory, you'd have to win 3 games, I guess, if you got into this tournament, if it was only 8 teams. Do I have my math right on that, guys? I think that's correct, isn't it? So, there's that. And who knows what else could possibly be in play. I'm with you. Like, this, Silver keeps saying this, maybe not in the first year. People are going to be like, oh, this is awesome, I'm all on board. Like, but it might build over time. Like, people might get a little more enthusiastic about it over the coming years. And I'm a big, like, why not to with this? I don't see what it's actually like taking anything away from. If it makes games in early December, mid-December, whatever, a little more entertaining and must watch when they are competing still with the NFL, on the schedule of sports. So that's I'm sure a part of their equation here too, of when they would place it or where they would place it. I also tweeted out, guys, I'd love to get your take on this. I can't remember if you guys are wrestling fans or not, but if they do this, I think the winning team needs to get crowns and scepters and maybe gowns and just go full on King of the Ring style from the wrestling world and call it King of the Court even. I mean, it's right there. And you get to show up, Andrew, rocking this regalia.
I would love that.
Right?
Do you do a miniature parade afterwards?
Ooh.
They return and then how does this fan base celebrate this? Is kind of what I wonder.
Wow. That's why I think the players should allow to continue. Wasn't it Sheed and the Bad Boy Pistons there, or the Pistons, and not the real Bad Boy Pistons, but when they won the title, they had the belts made and
the belts.
They run with that. Have them show up in their pregame fits, tasked with crowns and scepters and stuff like that. They're the Kings. We bow down.
So I think the NBA is in on it. Remember 2013, the Spurs Heat, they pulled out the rope when they thought the Spurs were going to win the championship. Right, they had the rope around the floor. Yeah, they would love having ropes around. I think, let's have a little ring. King of the Ring. I think the NBA players would buy in, no doubt. And I remember, our days, semi-working for the NBA, and how the terminology was a tentpole event. Opening night, tentpole event. Christmas Day, tentpole. All-Star, tentpole. Finals, draft, and free agency. And this would be the creation of another tentpole. The tent is getting some more peaks if they could pull this off. And so, I guess it's a time of year where the NBA is trying to protect their turf a little bit too. As you said, Andrew, they're trying to dominate the schedule. Well, the NFL just walked in on Christmas Day, tried to push the NBA aside there on Christmas Day, which is something that they're supposed to own. So I think the NBA will. Let's get the King of the Ring. I like it.
Like Jay says here, it's like, if it's like King of the Ring, it's just a title that means nothing but bragging rights. Sure. I mean,
it means nothing for sure.
That's fine. Who cares? These games don't mean anything half the time. So just, have a little fun little mini tournament within the season. I like it. And I'm with you guys. I like the idea of where they're thinking about putting it now, rather than whatever, like a March or something like that. After, like around, like you said, Tess, even that All-Star break, it's like, no, we're probably fine at the back end there. And now, especially with the play-in tournament, we even have a little excitement like built in at the end of the season now. Even if those teams that get in ultimately are never going to do anything, it's still fun to see, who's going to avoid the 9-10, who's going to avoid the 7 of having to sort of play their way still in, having to win a game. Yeah, we got that. That's working so far. And maybe that does help out Silver's chances of convincing these billionaire owners. Oh, hey guys, you might lose some $2 million here on this one home gate. I'm sure they'll survive, I guess. Okay, our next one, NBA.com. Paul George. Wow, he is out up to a month with torn ligament there in the right elbow. Tass, why don't you get started? Sounds like he's going to be out. 3 to 4 weeks at least.
It stinks for Paul George, but he hasn't been himself since that opening run of October, and then November was okay, and then got worse in December here. So it's kind of a good time for him to get injured. That's not obviously something he wants to have happen to him, but at the same time, he wasn't playing all that well, and the Clippers are not in a terrible spot because of the way the Western Conference standings have played out. There's a blob of teams. After you get down from, the 1, 2, 3, 4 spots, Suns, Warriors, Jazz, they're fine. And the Grizzlies are kind of treading water at 4, but then there's just a bunch of teams in that sort of 500 range. So I don't think the Clippers have really any worries that they're going to fall out of the play-in tournament standings. I know it's obviously not been the start that they expected. I thought that they could be an NBA finalist. I legitimately thought that, and I still think that every team would be worried playing them when they're healthy in the playoffs, but Paul George has to be better. And so is it a bad time? I think it's, for me, I don't know. I think it's kind of okay because he wasn't looking like himself out there.
Yeah, I was reading Jeff Stotts from In Street Clothes, who always does a breakdown of all of these injuries. It's a weird one here, Andrew, with Paul George, because Jeff pointing out that elbow UCL injuries, they're common in baseball, and at least like the Tommy John surgery, but not so much in the NBA. He went through his database. There's been 7 confirmed cases of this Paul George injury, including names like Andrea Bargnani and Evan Fournier, Nicholas Batum, Jimmy Butler, and the average missed time for a grade 2 UCL sprain, which is what he has here, is about 13, 14 games. So you're looking at about a month of action here. But do you think Tess has a point? Like, if this is going to happen, he had been laboring through this. It had been hurting him. So now he's going to sit it out. There should not be surgery, that at least we know of. And okay, this is like the window to sit, I guess, if you're Paul George and the Clippers, and maybe they can tend the tide. What do you think?
Their schedule is pretty tough. I think they have the 5th toughest schedule remaining in the NBA. So it's rough timing for them, honestly. And for us tanking sickos here in OKC, the Thunder have their unprotected pick. So obviously we don't want Paul George to get hurt, but also Thunder fans are like, okay, this is probably a good time for, if the Clippers are going to miss, it's probably going to be because of this next month.
Right.
Because they do have a tough schedule remaining. So I think we'll see. The West is is really weird. I don't really know who's going to be in the play-in. Obviously, the Clippers are going to have a good chance to still be there. But I worry a little bit about this upcoming schedule. And I've even talked to some people that cover the Clippers. They had feared that the wheels could come off with even Paul George there during the remaining schedule. And so with him gone, it'll be interesting to see because they've just been really inconsistent outside of PG. They don't really know what they're getting night to night from guys like Reggie Jackson or Eric Bledsoe. So it'll be really, I'm interested to see how they play and if they can overcome that.
As the Thunder expert here, especially on today's podcast, remind me, like, are there protections on these picks between Clippers and the Thunder? Like, what's the what's the breakdown? They're not, right?
Completely unprotected.
Yeah, okay.
The Clippers picks are.
Wow. So the worse the Clippers are, like you were saying, the happier OKC fans are in theory because the better the pick.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. If this ends up being a lottery pick somehow, I mean, the Thunder are pretty excited because I mean, the Clippers are one of the best organizations in the league now, which kind of feels weird to say. Yeah. That the odds of any of these picks being really good are probably pretty low, just because they're always making competent moves. They have ownership that is willing to pay the luxury tax, so they're going to always compete. So the Thunder always kind of needed something like this to happen for the pick to actually be a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that's fascinating. Like, what's weird is there's no then incentive for the Clippers to be like, okay, this is a lost year, right?
Right.
Kawhi, just don't even come back. Paul George, all right. We'll slow play you for the rest of the season because they would, in theory, do that because they would keep a pick. Maybe you had some young talent there, but yeah, it's not even theirs. So,
right. The only one that you could reach for is that they do actually have a lot of young talent on their team. And so perhaps developing some of those guys or figuring out if you have anything in those guys is like a weird, like, stealth tank for them just to see, like, okay, Brandon Boston, like, what really are you? Like, let's bring up Keon Johnson from the G League and see if he's got any juice to him. Like, there's still some value to be had there if it is a lost season for them because I think they've done a great job with the draft and some of the players that they've got.
Final one here, guys, from The Athletic, a fine website. Oh, I love it. Cavaliers signed coach JB Bickerstaff to multi-year extension as the team contends for a playoff spot. TASS's Cleveland Cavaliers punking TASS's Raptors. I mean, it wasn't really the Raptors, if we're being honest. It was a team that was apparently like slapped together like 2 hours before the game. They were meeting each other on the bus ride to the arena with I believe 4 players on the hardship rule there in the Raptors. But anyway, Cavs dominant victory, and Bickerstaff getting rewarded for it. TASS.
Shout out to JB Bickerstaff and the fact that he took over midway through the season in the 1920 year when John Beilein, said some things he shouldn't have, and the former college coach was ousted. JB Bickerstaff picked up the slack mid-season, and so I guess that I bring the timing up because I had forgotten that he had been there for a full season and a half before this year, before the Cavs really took off, and those 2 years, the year and a half, was terrible in terms of wins and losses. They won 19 games in that first year and then 22 games in his first full year last year. But JB Bickerstaff was allowed to stick around and to be the head coach. And kudos to the Cavs for allowing that to happen. And he's had a couple interim coach stints before. He's sort of been labeled as that interim coach guy, but now he has taken this team and should be given the reins. And now he's able to take this team to new heights, like 144 points of a smackdown against a Raptors team, or 81 points and a half against the Kings team. Oh man, we're beating up on the Kings team again. But the Cavs just put up points, and they have really come together as a solid team. So congrats to JB and his Bickerstaff for putting together. Gotta say it. I gotta say it. That's the man's name. It's hard to get away from that pun. But they have been allowed to go with it. And Kobe Altman, you talked about the Clippers doing well in the draft. Andrew, the Kobe Altman and the Cavs front office has done really well in terms of their pickups and their signings, and obviously the Evan Mobley thing is the cherry on everything. But they were able to jump into the James Harden 4-way deal and get Jared Allen. And yeah, they keep hitting some singles here, and hopefully it turns into a grand salami at some point, because they should be in the playoffs this year. They absolutely should be, because they're one of the better teams in the NBA. The Clippers, as you said, tough sked ahead. Well, the Cavs have already faced the tough part of their sked with all their injuries and stuff. So they should be easily a playoff team, and what a bounce back from 19 and 22 win seasons.
Yeah, what do you think here, finally, Andrew, of the Cavs locking up the inevitable coach of the year here in Bickerstaff? They want to get him under a contract.
I love it. This is the feel-good story of the NBA, right? Like, everybody was kind of laughing at the Cavs and what they were doing. Like, you draft another big and you just extended Jared out. You're doing what with Lauri Markkanen? Like, what's going on here? Like, you clearly have no idea what you're doing with this basketball team. And then they lose Colin Sexton. Like, all these things seemingly working against them, but it all kind of comes together. Mm-hmm. And for a team that's been bad for so long, I think a lot of people probably expected them to be in the lottery again. And for them to put it all together and for it to work, for a plan that no one thought would work to work, I think is just fun. Like, it's a great story. And Bickerstaff has been a part of it. Some of it is just the way that they play together. And that's a huge part of being an NBA coach, just getting everybody on the same page. And it seems like Bickerstaff has done that.
Yes, especially when you consider like the young talent and then like that infusion of the vets in Rubio, of course, coming in there, and Tass was high on that, but Kevin Love's still there and contributing. Yeah. I will say I'm only worried about Bickerstaff and the Cavs moving forward here is because I think the first headline I saw on Real GM this morning was still Cavs very interested in Ben Simmons. Yes, they are. I'm like, look, I mean, you got a giant Kevin Love contract. Would Sexton have to be involved? Like, you could get him. They in theory, they could. The pieces are there to acquire him.
They're not doing it. They're not doing it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm concerned. I mean, it's like at a certain point, I don't know though. Do you try and sell high on some of these guys playing sort of out of their heads right now, or out of their minds, or do you not rock the boat? And just
No, I would be hesitant to bring in a guy taking the ball out of Darius Garland's hands, and I would think about the Karis LeVert potential move with the Pacers, because it's sort of a different signing. He could be that Colin Sexton role that Colin Sexton obviously has left because he's injured for the rest of the season, maybe a sixth man. But no, you say guys playing above their heads there, Skeets, but I'm buying Mobley, I'm buying Jared Allen, and I'm buying Darius Garland's growth. So I wouldn't mess with that. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't.
And Okoro, we talked about too, is had a couple awesome weeks.
He's growing
together there.
Yeah.
Roll with it. Just roll with it.
Yeah, they need shooting. They don't need another non-shooter.
Right.
They just need to add shooting to this mix. And I think let the guys grow. Let the young guys grow a little bit.
Still with though wants to know, does Skeets post on Real GM? Absolutely not. There are some hilarious comments on posts on Real GM though, so I will say that. Do I read them every once in a while? Yes, still with the post. My God, no. Just reading the headlines. Gotta stay up with all the news, and hopefully we just helped you as well. Go ahead.
They still do the thing on Real GM where anybody can post, like it's a free for all.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Any person just upload, and then they figure it out on the back end.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think Still With though is actually talking about, I see this. There's the headline. There's the article on the Cavs being interested in Ben Simmons, and then of course you comment on it. I think that's what he means. But no, I'm sorry, I can't answer you.
No, you're not one of the commenters. But yeah, comment section always a fun place. I'm on the Athletic comment section.
Yeah,
always a fun jam.
This is true. I'm more of an NBA Analysis Network guy. That's sort of my vibe. That's the only website I check more than Basketball References MVP tracker. All right, let's get to a little tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Oh, look at Andrew all over it. Nailing the tweet of the night sting. And I got a fun tweet, I think, here from Tim McMahon with ESPN. He tweeted, Mavs play-by-play man Mark Followill is in the midst of a remarkable run in these strange times. An emergency solo broadcast, carrying Dirk throughout his analysis debut, and now a last-minute fill-in for the Pelicans crew. Holy, Tass, I know you love NBA broadcasters. They say the darndest things at times, as you've
we need to say what. Come back.
Yeah. But what? This is crazy here. I mean, I love Tim taking a shot at Dirk. I just, they got a great relationship there. But those three things had to do his solo emergency one. Then he did the thing with Dirk, and then filling in for the Pelicans broadcast.
At this time of year as well, I find it the hardest time of the year to really produce excellence. It's especially being in this media game. This is the time of year where you're being pulled 1,000 different directions, and then Followill being pulled in another one. I mean, he's a professional. I got two questions. Does this mean Joel Myers wasn't on the Pelicans broadcast?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I didn't look into it. This was the last minute tweet of the night.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that
Antonio
right?
Daniels was with Mark last night. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I got to hit up Joel and ask him how he's doing. Hopefully he's all right. Second thing, there was the joke there that Followill picked up Dirk Nowitzki's slack. Yeah. He was carrying Dirk. I think the problem with the Mavs, and I hope this gets to Followill, is that they try. There's too many voices. I know Skin Wade's great, but I need more Dirk. I mean, Dirk goes solo. I think they had a 3-man booth with the Mavs, and this is my production note. Let Dirk fly. Let him spread his wings.
You want Dirk to do a solo game?
Okay, no, that's nuts. That's crazy. But I mean, he's carried some teams before. Yeah, no, but let him. The 3-man booth, sometimes you're taking away the shine of the one guy, especially in a big basketball game. We're flying. This isn't football.
Tass is loving this podcast today. There's no Lily, there's no Trey. We got 3-man booth here.
No, in basketball, you've got 24 seconds, and the play-by-play guy is calling 10, 15, 18 seconds, and then the other two guys in the booth, if there's 3-man booth, just have to whip in one line. Dirk needs to spread the wings.
Oh, okay.
Let Dirk fly, baby. Let him go. Get him on other broadcasts. Let him go to the Pels. Sorry, Antonio Daniels. You can't. Dirk's going to be with Joel Myers for this one. But we had a moment with Dirk Nowitzki on the podcast last week. We featured a moment because Dirk was amazing on that broadcast. He was very, very, very funny, as you would expect. And so more Dirk in our lives. Nothing wrong with that.
No. I am pro more Dirk in our lives, but I am also pro three men / women at times in the booth. I like it. I mean, it's all a chemistry thing, Andrew. Yeah. But some of them pull it off. I think Mavs do a phenomenal job, of course, with Skin Wade sort of as the third voice there. The Nets do it on broadcasts from time to time. At least did. I don't know what Richard Jefferson's sort of like contract is now with his ESPN days there, but Kustok and Bird would be on the call. I'm a fan of it. I usually like the three people calling a game, even the national broadcasts, even when it's like Van Gundy and Jackson and I guess Breen is usually with them, right? But
yeah, just let Dirk wade into the waters a little bit before you give him too much airspace.
You got to get your reps in here. All right, so that's tweet of the night. Great stuff there from Tim McMahon. Pick results from way back on Thursday night. It was that Spurs-Lakers game. You might remember that Tass and I were tied going into this game for the month of December.
So not anymore.
It was a big one. Not anymore, he says. He's pumped because the Spurs hammered the Lakers, like I brought up earlier in the show. So they covered quite easily. They were dogs, actually, in this game somehow. But that's a victory for Tass. He's 7-9. It was a victory for Lee. He's 9-7. Trey's okay with the loss. He's 12-4. So I'm 6-10. I'm a game behind Tass here. We have tonight's game, so I really need this one, and then we'll have December 30th in theory. So you will either wrap up the month here, Tass, tonight, and I will once again lose Pick'em. It'll be my fourth one that I'll have to pay off. My God. Or I'll tie it up. So this is extremely important. What's the game?
Well, it's an 8-game schedule tonight, and I went with one that is near and dear to our hearts here. As Atlanta Hawks bros, supporters of the Atlanta Hawks being here in Atlanta, they're at home to the Chicago Bulls, obviously Trey's team. Uh-huh. So it's a 5.5-point spread. It's a 7-game schedule. I can't count. So 5.5 points for the Hawks, getting that at home because the Bulls are favored on the road. Obviously, the Bulls are favored. but you'd think that the line might even be a little bit bigger than that because everybody is in Hawks protocols. John Collins added to the protocols after the Christmas Day game. And so a 5.5-point spread.
Lonzo Ball, didn't he just get put in protocols as well?
Yes, Lonzo Ball did for the Chicago Bulls. That's totally true. But the Hawks have been horrendous at home. They've dropped their last 7 games at home, 7 straight. So they can still lose this and cover because it's a 5.5-point spread. But I'm feeling a little loopy. I'm being a little crazy here. I'm going with those Atlanta Hawks. I think the Bulls might overlook them a little bit. And I think it might carry over from yesterday. They beat the Pacers. They allowed the Pacers to get on the offensive glass. This young, peppy Hawks team that's obviously doesn't have a ton of their players, Trey and John Collins and Gallo and Herter down the line. But I'm still taking them for some odd reason to hang with the Bulls. Skeets, what are you feeling?
Well, I have to take the opposite. So I was pumped to see you taking the Hawks.
Yeah.
At plus 5.5, you said. You got some wiggle room there for sure. It could be a close game, even if the Bulls get the victory. But yeah, Bulls are back. I'm told every second day here on the show. So let's continue that impressive play there, Chicago. I need a win. I need a 6-point victory down here at the Fortress. What do you think, Andrew? If you're a betting man, where would you be putting your hard-earned coin?
Oh, Bulls. No.
Oh boy.
It's a trap, baby.
Oh, oh! I think people are saying Tass is feeling generous. Is this my Christmas gift? Is that what you're trying to do? Like a Christmas gift to me? Whoops. We'll see. We'll see. Crazier things have happened in the NBA. Nothing's a gimme. But I need the Bulls to win by 6 points or more, and Tass needs the Hawks to keep it close enough to wrap up the month of December until we start this all over again in January. Okay, that's it for us. Let's call it there, guys. Come on, we got things to do. All 3 of us. Myself, Tass, Andrew Schlect, filling in for JD here. We'll be back on Thursday, December 30th for our final podcast of 2021. I think it's just the 3 of us again. I can't keep track. I know JD won't be here. TK, I think, might be traveling back from Chicago. Lee, who knows what he's throwing in the air in Calgary at this point. So it'll probably just be the 3 of us. So help us out with that show. Get your questions in. Send them into nodunks@theathletic.com. Maybe we'll do a little beach step and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok @NoDunksInc. And grab yourself an athletic subscription. Nice deal going on right now. End of year deal, $24 for a full year's worth of athletic subscriptions. Great journalism and podcast free. Podcast free. Ad free podcast. That'd be weird. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. Thank you so much to the stream team for joining us here on a Monday. Little Christmas hangover. Really appreciate you guys swinging through. Till next time, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And yeah, we're saying a lot of things incorrectly today. I had that brain fart with the ad. You're calling podcast free podcast there, Skeets. Yeah. And going back to our last show in studio, we were talking about this deal for The Athletic, and we were saying that it's half off, but it's actually, you're only paying a third of the price. So yeah, our numbers are just way off. It's just a third. You're paying 33%.
All these athletic deals, man. There's
I know.
New one every week.
They are fast and furious, but yeah, third's better than half, 3 better than 2. Isn't that what they say in basketball? It's not really. It's a third. It's not 3. But anyways, fractions, stats, ads, can't keep them straight.
Embrace the day, people.
You could stay